Dave Hughes with the news and views. Dave Hughes with the news and views here on the Camo Day on the Dave Hughes channel. How you doing, everybody? Dave Hughes with the news and views on the Dave Hughes channel. How are you doing, everybody? Dave Hughes with the news and views. Big news and views today. Apparently, the big news going around today, Monday, August 6th, 2018, YouTube has deleted the Alex Jones channel for violating its community guidelines. So reports The Verge. It's the latest in a string of moves that could dramatically limit the reach of the InfoWars host and conspiracy theorist. So Alex Jones, I don't know where you'd put him on the spectrum of talkers. You know, you've got the center, and then you've got lefties, and then you've got righties, and he's kind of around. You know, if you think of the political spectrum as a circle, that you can go so far to the left that you come back around on the right, and you can go so far to the right that you come back around on the left. Alex is kind of down at that lower, you know, I think he's technically a right winger, but he kind of comes all the way around so that he kind of almost sometimes sounds like an ultra left winger. You know, ultra lefties and ultra righties, sometimes they kind of meet. They meet down there on the other side of the sphere, so to speak, the political sphere. So anyway, apparently his channel's gotten yanked by YouTube. Hello, Atlanta, the Brave, Time Chaser, Geezer, Princess Bubbles. About damn time, says Princess Bubbles. Time chaser. Yeah, so apparently on July the 24th, Jones received a strike on his channel after posting videos that contained hate speech against Muslims and transgender people and footage of a child being shoved to the ground. As a result of the strike, Jones was prohibited from using his channel to conduct live broadcasts for 90 days, but he continued to live stream on other platforms, leading YouTube to terminate his account. Okay, so a lot of bottom of YouTubers do that. They have multiple accounts, okay? And then they get a strike. One strike, apparently, you get one strike and you will lose the ability to live stream, okay? And some YouTubers, live streaming is their main thing, okay? It used to be with me that, you know, I'd lose my live stream. I wouldn't even know about it. But now I'm doing more and more live streams like today here on the Dave Hughes channel, News and Views with Dave Hughes. And so Alex Jones is off of YouTube. YouTube said that Jones violated its terms of service and community guidelines. Quote, when users violate these policies repeatedly, like our policies against hate speech and harassment, our terms prohibiting circumvention of our enforcement measures, we terminate their account. So that's an interesting point. If you get, for example, even if you're at the bottom of YouTube, even if you're a small channel, if they put a ban on you doing live streams because of something you violated in their community guidelines, if you find a way around that through another channel or another channel that's associated with your channel, you are violating your terms of service and they can just shut you down. And that's apparently what they've done to Mr. Jones. Anyway, Geezer's here. What's up, Dave? What do you think? What do you think, Geezer? I know you kind of lean to the right. What do you think of Alex Jones? Do you listen to him? I know you've done some political stuff there in the past. They're from your perch in Delaware, lower, slower Delaware, where it tends to be a very Delaware is kind of a funny state. That it's liberal to the north and conservative to the south. And I know Geezer lives down in the south there. So anyway, he probably, I don't know. Do you listen? What do you think, Alex Jones? How does he stack up against Rush Limbaugh? Do you think that YouTube did the right thing here? Do you think that certain things are too extreme? Do you think that maybe Alex Jones forced this on YouTube so that he would get the publicity? Because everybody's talking about it today. Everybody's out there saying, hey, look what the YouTube did. Look what YouTube did. It's probably going to be on the news tonight, on the network news. Is this just a PR kind of thing? Did he kind of push this in that direction? Or is this something that we really should be concerned about, that you know, he deserves to have the right to speak? You know, but again, he has the right to speak, but he doesn't necessarily have the right to speak on using YouTube as a platform, okay? There are two things you got to realize when you're doing YouTube, okay? That the Constitution guarantees you certain freedoms. YouTube is a private, it's a company, okay? And you can say whatever you want. You could say probably a lot of what Alex said, you know, legally and without any penalty whatsoever as your freedom of speech, as long as it's not hate speech, whatever that is. But anyway, but YouTube can say anything bullying, anything that's not nice about somebody, they can kick you off. They can silence you. So anyway, what has happened is they gave him a strike. They prohibited him from live streaming. He found a way around that, continued to do live streams, and they have said, okay, because of that, he's violated his terms of service. Jones told the Washington Post that the termination of his account across multiple platforms today was a, quote, counter strike against the global awakening. You're on the wrong side of history, the mainstream media. He said you're on the wrong side of history, mainstream media. You sold the country out, and now you're going to pay for it. So it doesn't sound like he's just going to kick back and take his YouTube. YouTube is the liberal media elite, according to Alex Jones, and he is going to, and it's not just YouTube. Apparently, Apple, Facebook, and Spotify have also put restrictions on Alex Jones. So he's now going up against the entire social media cabal, so to speak. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Jones shouldn't be above the rules, says Princess Bubbles. He's a little too out there sometimes for me. I remember when Adam the Woo was hanging around with what was his name? Oh yeah, see, I'm terrible with the guy from the whatever band that was hanging around with that does Alex Jones. Oh, the world is anyway. That guy, whoever that guy is, I can't think of his name. It just blipped in my head. The guy from the Smashing Pumpkins. Who's the guy from the Smashing Pumpkins? He was apparently, remember a year or two ago, Adam was down in Texas and he met up with a guy from the Smashing Pumpkins who I can't remember his name. Somebody fill me in on the name. Somebody got to know that guy's name. Anyway, he was a frequent guest on Alex Jones' show, and I did watch some of Alex Jones' stuff, and I did get the impression that he's kind of almost so far to the right that he comes back around on the left, that a lot of ultra lefties and ultra righties could meet and have Alex. I could see both ultra lefties and ultra righties both liking Alex Jones. Billy Corgan, right. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Geezer. Right. Billy Corgan was a big fan of Alex Jones, and he met up with Adam the Woo, and Billy Corgan was doing some sort of a documentary thing down in Texas there. And then you do a whole Google thing on Billy Corgan and Alex Jones, and you'll see a whole lot of stuff. Now, Black Bigot was down in Austin, Texas not too long ago, and he was claiming that he was trying to get a job with the Alex Jones organization. So I don't know. Be very interesting. Jones is the National Enquirer of the news media. I get the impression that Jones is probably kind of laughing at all of this, that he wants the publicity, and he's doing some sort of a war against the liberal social media, okay? According to the Washington Post, late Sunday, Apple stripped the majority of podcasts published by Jones' website, InfoWars, from iTunes and its podcast apps. Quote, Apple does not tolerate hate speech, and we have clear guidelines that its creators and developers must follow to ensure that we provide a safe environment for all our users, the company said in a statement to the Post. Quote, podcasts that violate these guidelines are removed from our directory, making them no longer searchable or available for download or streaming. We believe in representing the wide range of views so long as people are respectful to those with differing opinions. So it isn't just YouTube. Apple's done it. And Apple's decision actually followed Spotify, Facebook, and now YouTube, removing some of Jones' offending content. But apparently Apple was the most sweeping. The company's decision to pull the InfoWars podcast was first reported by BuzzFeed. Apple removed 5 of the 6 InfoWars programs from its listing, including The Alex Jones Show and The War Room. Then, today, YouTube came along and terminated the Alex Jones channel, saying in a statement, yeah, we read the statement already. So anyway, Alex Jones called the decisions to remove him from Apple, Facebook, and Spotify, quote, a counterstrike against the global awakening, So anyway, he also says, quote, we've seen a giant yellow campaign yellow journalism campaign with thousands and thousands of articles for weeks, for months, misrepresenting what I've said and done to the precedent to deplatform me before big tech and the Democratic Party, as some Republican establishment types move against the First Amendment in this country as we know it. The bottom line is, and I think the bottom line is, these YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, all these things they're not public platforms. They're all private platforms. And you have to agree, when you sign up for YouTube, you had a big long page of tiny text and you had to sign up and agree to that. And one of them was to be respectful of other people, somewhere in there, and that they have the right to terminate your account or to shut you down for any reason they want, pretty much. Mikey Mike, Alex Jones does not promote hate, but they tell the truth. A lawsuit is coming from Jones, says I'm not Chuck. Well, I think I really have a feeling that the lawyers at YouTube and Facebook and all the other groups, they have what they call terms and conditions, terms of service, and they have the right to shut anybody down that they want. Pretty much, that's what they do, and most of us people on YouTube, we've all run into some of that with our channels. You cross the line, you make a joke about somebody and wham, they come and slap you with a penalty. I think most of us at the bottom of YouTube have had that happen to us in one form or another, and there's not a lot you can do about it. A number of the folks at the bottom of YouTube have gotten a number of strikes to the point where their channels have been shut down. I talk about the Swedes. We've had the bad connection there. Their channel has been banned from uploading and also from streaming for quite a while, and it comes back and it goes away, and we see that with a lot of people. And but when it happens to somebody as big as Alex Jones, it kind of makes the headlines here. Bubba Warbucks, there are probably a bunch of other channels that you start looking over their shoulders, but I don't have any examples. Yeah, well, we've also heard about some of the gun channels. There's a number of gun rights channels that have been shut down on YouTube. We've heard about that. YouTube has shut down some gaming channels. They have done that in the past. So anyway. Billy Corrigan. Yeah, Billy Corrigan, Smashing Pumpkins. He has been on Alex's show a couple times. You can find him. Be interesting to see if all those InfoWars shows are all gone. I guess they probably would be if they shut down the channel. Camper Van Elvis has done the same thing, Alex Jones. Every time he gets a strike, he just starts another channel. Yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people have done that. They get struck, or they already have several other channels available, and they just they're underneath the radar. No one's going to really notice what they're doing. They have another channel, a second channel, a different account, and YouTube is not going to pay attention to say, okay, this little guy with a couple hundred subs has another channel over here with 10 subs, and now he's streaming, even though we banned him from streaming. But when you're Alex Jones and you're a big guy and you've got a lot of subs and you're making a lot of money on YouTube, I'm sure he's got his channel monetized, is making quite a lot of money on YouTube, but boom, he's now gone. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens to him. Is there somewhere else he could go? Is there some streaming service that would be, is there some sort of pro-right or pro-extremist streaming service that he could go to? I don't know. Jones is being sued by the Sandy Hook parents. I've heard about that. Yeah, he made some real nasty comments about what was going on, what happened, the stuff that happened at that shooting there up in Connecticut, the school shooting. Oh, anyway, Princess Bubbles, if these social media platforms are going to be in the hate business, then there will be people who make an issue with it. So yeah, it's the YouTube and Facebook and Spotify and everybody else has to understand that a lot of people, if all of a sudden we're getting radical groups using these platforms, certain, terroristy type groups, when you're talking about stuff like that, they're shut down, they're banned, and YouTube can do that. I mean, they literally have the legal right to do that. You do not have freedom of speech on YouTube, whatever you want to say about it. So anyway, that's just the big news today. I thought I would interrupt programming today. I'm trying to turn my Dave Hughes channel into kind of a newsy channel. And when I saw that news come down the pipeline today about Alex Jones, I thought I would report it because it is kind of a big, crazy news story. Please don't forget to like the stream. Yes, like the stream. I don't know, I always kind of cringe a little bit when somebody gets their freedom of speech taken away. Even it's, how awful sometimes how you disagree with people and how people say things that I just don't like it in the United States of America where we say now, nope, you can't have a free, you do not deserve to be on YouTube anymore. You do not deserve to be, on this. It's kind of sad. It is kind of sad. There's been no trial. Nobody's really been convicted of anything. And all of a sudden we're shutting people down and having fewer and fewer people talk. I don't know. You have the right to go on YouTube and talk against Alex Jones and what he stands for. And I think to some degree, he should have the right to say what he wants to say. But at the same time, I do understand you can say things that are just too out there. Radio stations are the same way. I mean, you don't have the freedom of speech to say anything you want. They've had people fired on radio stations, left and righties, mainly righties, I think, for going too far and saying something. I know on the WMAL radio in Washington, they've had a couple of their hosts who have made Muslim jokes and stuff like that get fired. They've actually fired them, even though, it's just the way it happens. You got to be really careful, especially with humor. Fast pup dog training. The problem with strikes is that anyone with a grudge can level a strike just for spite. Well, that's very true on YouTube too. Mark Fun Jones, being that I'm always changing what I'm building, it doesn't seem so Groundhog's Day, Bubba. Dave, you should get an RV and travel like Adam did. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that another day, huh? Today we're talking about Alex Jones getting kicked off of YouTube, getting kicked off of Facebook, getting kicked off of Apple streaming. Everybody's pulling the plug on him. Has he gone too far, or is this just a giant publicity stunt? Is he trying, this does happen. Is he trying to build a war against social media, calling him a giant liberal bastion? And he wants this to all happen, and he wants the publicity, and he wants everyone to talk about him. I mean, he hasn't been, I don't know. I haven't heard a lot about him in the media lately. So I don't know. This could all be a giant publicity stunt too. I wouldn't put it past him. All of a sudden now, I don't know. Is he going to get reinstated? Or is he going to go somewhere else? Is he going, he could start his own channel. Does he have he has his own website. So he could put streaming and shows right on his own website. I don't know why he couldn't do that. Dave, just admit it. You're hooked on going live. Well, I'm trying to be the voice of the news. I know 2 live streams today. I was not going to do a second live stream today, but when I saw that news come up, I said, why am I going to just sit on this till tomorrow? I was planning to do a news live stream tomorrow, but I said, what the heck? Let's do it now. Okay. Plus my Doxinator's still in the car driving down to South Carolina today, so he won't know what I'm doing. He always says, Dave, you're doing too many live streams. Stop it. I think it's okay to do an extra live stream if you got a topic that's worthy of it. If all I'm going to do is stand there and go, well, hi, everybody. How you doing? No, we're talking about Alex Jones getting shut down on a whole bunch of different platforms, including Facebook. Facebook said in a blog post Monday that it removed 4 of Alex Jones's pages for also violating its community standards. Facebook previously erased 4 videos hosted by these pages, but the company said users continued to report offensive content published by them. Now, Facebook has unpublished the pages for glorifying violence and, quote, using dehumanizing language to describe people who are transgender, Muslims, and immigrants, which violates our hate speech policies, the company said. Facebook took down the Alex Jones channel page, the Alex Jones page, the InfoWars nightly news page, and the InfoWars page. Last month, Facebook suspended Jones for 30 days. So Jones is, he's obviously standing up to these guys and encouraging them to come at him. And they are. Alex Jones will create his own streaming app. And this may be step 1 of doing that. I'm going to get kicked off of all these major platforms, and I am going to start my own app. And it's all the publicity now, all the publicity coming down the pike today from being kicked. I am too dangerous for those liberal namby-pamby social media channels. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Giant monopolies have a lot of power and act as a virtual, you know, they do. Are they on collusion? As the people at Facebook talk to the people at YouTube who talk to, I don't know. Be careful, you are doing the very thing they are trying to stop. Here's the entire InfoWars network where you can catch all of his streams free from censorship. Yeah, he has his own platform, so you could go to his InfoWars channel and get it straight from him. So why does he even need to use YouTube or Facebook or whoever else? To be honest with you, you know? Time to think about decentralized alternatives to YouTube. That's very interesting, Hidden Highways. You know, and it's true. You know, maybe there should be more alternatives to YouTube. You know, there are a few other streaming services, but nobody has that big prestige that YouTube has. You know, if you want people to see you, YouTube is just the big kahuna, so to speak. This sets a very dangerous precedent, Ruthie D writes. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see where this plays out. You know, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. You know where people are lining up. The right wingers are saying freedom of speech. The left wingers are saying we don't need hate speech. And blah 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 blah. So, going to be interesting to see where it goes between Google, Facebook, and Apple. Blinked away. My chat vanishes. Between Google, Facebook, and Apple, they are quite a force, writes I'm Not Chuck. Well, yeah. You have Google, Facebook, and Apple. That's pretty much about 95% of your streaming services, right? So Fast Pup dog training. Supposedly Mike Adams from Natural News is supposedly starting a website to compete with YouTube. Okay. Aggie writes, Alex Jones lost his YouTube because he violated the 30-day suspension by starting other channels. He is being treated as anyone else would that broke their terms of service repeatedly, but him and his fans are pro-victims. Yeah, so, well, that's the truth. They have terms of service, and if they suspend you... Now, I didn't realize this. You can, once you get your streaming suspended, you're not allowed to go on another channel or on another one of your channels, because many people have multiple channels and then continue streaming. If they cut you off, you can't... It's a violation of their terms of service to go on another one of your channels and continue streaming, and so there. So that's interesting. They could shut you down completely. Wow. Yeah, well, Betty, I'm sorry. I do deeply apologize. But, you know, hey, the Dave Hughes channel is for news and views and crazy stuff, especially media stuff. And this was a big enough story, so I thought I would do that. I realize I'm on too much today. I'm not going to go for more than half an hour here today. I got another 7 minutes and then I'm off, okay? But I do want to give you the big news, the big breaking news today that YouTube has pulled the plug on Alex Jones. Alex Jones, I guess you would say he's probably more right-wing than Rush Limbaugh. If you put all the righty talkers over on the spectrum, you know, Alex Jones would kind of, and as I said that, here's the center, and then we have the left. I don't know if this is going to be left and right. Left to me, right to me. You go to the left, you got, you know, the lefty talkers, you got NPR, you got whoever, and then you go to the right and you got like Rush Limbaugh and you know, all those guys, and then you come around here, and then you've got Alex Jones kind of over in here, and you can come around the spectrum so far to the left that you come back on the right or come back, you go. So yeah, Alex Jones, I think, appeals to some ultra righties, but I think he also appeals to some ultra lefties too. I think that they kind of come around and meet on the other side, the dark side of the talk spectrum, the dark side of the talk sphere. Why can't people just change the flipping channel if they don't like it and let the free market determine winners and losers? Sheesh. Real Ruthie G does have a point. But again, I guess you got to have, you know, you can't let somebody just say anything, right? If they're talking, you know, the nasty stuff about people's sexuality, their ethnicity, if they're doing horrible, you know, there's nasty stuff you can say. Does they have the right to do that? I mean, you know, nobody, you know, newspapers won't allow you to do that. Movies won't allow you to do that. You know, everybody is owned by some company and they all have standards, you know, and they won't just let you say anything. You can say anything. Of course, you can be sued for slander and libel. But, you know, if you have your own, now, again, you can have your own server and put stuff up. But now internet companies can block you and server companies can block you and stuff like that. People often say, well, I've got my own website, so I have total freedom. Yeah, but most of your websites are hosted by some server that's some part of some big company, and you can go to the server company and you can say, Alex Jones has a website on your server and he's saying this and this and this, and they can shut him down. So there really is no total freedom to say anything completely, but that's America. That's part of the freedom thing. We don't have total freedom to do whatever we want. There are laws. That's what laws are for. So anyway, I don't know. Interesting to see what's going on here. The far left is getting out of control. They don't have the right to dictate speech. And I know that's what the right wing is. That's what the Alex Jones people are going to say. What about our freedom? Do you? And it's the same thing. Do you have the freedom to shout fire in a crowded theater? No. Do you have freedom to say slanderous things about certain ethnicities or different religions or whatever? On YouTube, on Facebook? No, you don't. On Apple streaming? No, you don't. And that's the way it is. They're companies. They own those platforms. So anyway, what Alex is finding out, if he doesn't already know, is that the same thing applies to big guys as applies to little guys. Spotify says it's hardened its stance against Jones. The company announced that the Alex Jones show, which was banned from the platform last week, Spotify removed only certain episodes of the podcast. But now they've taken the entire thing down. We take reports of hate content seriously and review any podcast episode or song that is flagged by our community. And due to the repeated violations of Spotify's prohibited content policies, the Alex Jones Show has lost access to the Spotify platform. So everybody's coming down. It's not just YouTube. It's Spotify. It's Facebook. It's Apple. So anyway. All righty, folks. So that's the big news today. I thank you all for participating in my little Dave Hughes News and Views chat here. Dave almost every other day, or Dave almost every day, DAED, here on the Dave Hughes channel, where I talk about other things other than, our nice little nomadic stuff. So that's on my other camodave channel. But we do talk about penis balls. What? I have had friends lose entire channels of videos for far less than that. Aggie has a good point there. I mean, we all know a bunch of YouTubers. I think Black Bigot has reported on a few of those others. LL Campador or whatever his name was. He got his channel pulled. We all have heard about a number of people that lose their channels. You got to be careful if you're talking politics, if you're talking ethnicity stuff, if you're talking gay stuff. Yeah, you got to be really careful not to offend other people, or they could have your channel struck. And YouTube has a thing called bullying. They can come at you for bullying, and that's a broad term that can include even criticizing someone's appearance, their weight, the way they look, a whole lot of things. So anyway. The best thing would be if there was an internet that did not depend on corporate infrastructure. Some people have tried starting something called the mesh web, but they have a long way to go. Well, we also have something called the dark web, too, where a lot worse things than what Alex Jones is propagating are on there. Okay, so there are ways to get your message out, in nefarious ways all over the internet, in various ways to do it. And then again, look, you start a website, Comcast, Verizon, all the internet service providers, they can block you too. They do block certain hate speech websites. They do block certain websites that lean to, international terrorism things. So you can get blocked from them too. There are a whole bunch of different censors on the internet, not just the podcast or the video companies like YouTube and Facebook, but also the people that pull the strings on, web addresses and, all that stuff. The people that offer your internet service can pull the plug on things. Again, net neutrality went away. Net neutrality would have prevented, here we go, the liberals want net neutrality. Trump got rid of net neutrality. And what would net neutrality have done? It would have prevented internet providers from singling out certain political speakers and cutting them off. Now, They can do that. If Comcast now wants to go to Infowars.com and make it so you can't access it, they have every right to do that. That's because net neutrality isn't there anymore. So in a weird way, a lefty thing called net neutrality that Obama wanted that was whacked by Donald Trump isn't there to protect Alex Jones. Interesting how things kind of take a wacky turn like that, huh? Ordinary Americans won't use the darknet, will they? I've always been scared to do it, man. I know some people who do it. I'm not gonna go there. Disrespecting parents who have lost their children in the Sandy Hook shooting is when free speech goes too far, and that's my opinion. Alex Jones is an idiot, writes Christian Robert. Amen, Christian. Slander, libel, and inciting violence are not protected forms of speech, writes Aggie, and she's very right. She is very right. You can be sued. You can go to jail for saying certain things that are deemed by the courts to be slander and libelous. So anyway, we'll talk about this some other day. Just wanted to break the news to you that was coming across, at Alex Jones' website, Alex Jones shows, Alex Jones Infowars stuff has been yanked by a whole bunch of media outlets, including YouTube, Facebook, and Amazon. So, all right, folks, that's the big news today. Leave your comments. You want to make some more comments, wait for this replay to come up later today and put the comments down there. I appreciate everybody for being here. And yeah, let's talk about it. We'll talk about it later this week on some of my news and view shows on Dave Almost Every Day, DAED, here on my Dave Hughes channel. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and appreciate your comments, and we'll talk some more later. Vlog, stream, select.